Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Clash Daytona. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Toyota, Captiva Spine, Foundation Risk Partners, USA Triathlon. Seriously, one of the most interesting guys on the planet, Mr. Andrew Starykowicz joins us. How you doing, Andrew? I don't notice anything. You look fine to me. Nothing happened to your face at all. So,
nothing.
Viewers, don't notice that. It was the guy was giving me lip. And I just decided to beat the crap out of him because I can.
Well, I mean, you have the only. You've basically monopolized the endurance sport live broadcasts.
Exactly.
So I mean, I asked about anybody coming into the space and maybe doing what you do, and you went off on me.
Because don't get mouthy, okay?
Well,
and don't even try to come into my space. Do I come into your space? You see me riding a bike? No, you don't see me.
I've seen you ride a bike.
It's not very pretty.
So, yeah, I mean, it's stuff
happens.
Stuff happens in life.
And your body's a little sore.
Oh, I'm very sore.
Very sore. Okay, but you're still racing.
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't I?
I mean, all of this really came out of a pouring rain experience 4 years ago here in Daytona, where you guys really weren't going to be doing the whole race on the track, right? That was really the pros, you and Meredith and some of the other pros making a decision and helping Bill make a decision. Hey, for us to be safe, let's create something on the track. And look what it's become.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a cool thing, and that this has become. I mean, it was I think it was actually 3 years ago when that happened. Yeah,
okay.
And we were in a room. They moved up the age group start, and they said, "Pros, well, you guys are going to race
because it's pouring rain."
Right. No, it hadn't rained yet.
Oh, but they knew on the Doppler that it was coming.
That it was coming. So they moved up the start of the age group race. They got the age group race in, and they said, "The pros, you guys will go after the storm's supposed to be done around 11 or 1." And we just kept pushing it back, and finally, and we kept discussing and talking about different potential opportunities because with the professional field you got much more control over what's going to happen.
Sure.
And it's a much tighter field, and I've always tried to push the sport forward, and I really I was talking with Cameron Worf in the back of the room, and I saw this as a great opportunity to really vault the sport forward, and that's essentially what has happened is we don't have to do a 70.3 distance. We don't have to do these set distances. This is a chance that, hey, we could do something very unique. The fans could see us the entire race.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the handful of fans that stuck around for the first running that we did this, I mean, we did an entirety in the track.
Everything was here. The swim, bike, and run, right here.
Yes, everything was right here. And I mean, there were some people Alicia and Meredith were a little leery of it because the men and women were racing at the exact same time. Mm-hmm. But as it all unfolded, it worked out incredibly, and now it's become a phenomenon, and we got 3 of these next year, which I'm really excited about.
Well, and so we've had Challenge Daytona, and now it's Clash Daytona, and Clash Miami, and Clash Atlanta, and Clash Watkins Glen. And you had the opportunity to do some filming up there at Watkins Glen, and as fast as these courses are, Miami and Daytona, Watkins Glen is going to be a different beast entirely.
Each of the courses are very unique. I mean, Daytona here, this is the high speed, high banks.
Right.
I mean, this is Daytona. I mean, and you go anywhere in the world, you say, "Hey, I won Kona." People are going to look at you like, "What's Kona?" You go anywhere in the world, you tell them you won at Daytona. They've heard of Daytona. It doesn't matter what type of rock they live under. So, I mean, this is a very special place, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then, there's a few other speedways that if you say you raced there and you won there, I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at in the world. It means something.
Right.
And then so this is always going to be the high speed track. And then we went down in Miami. We decided to utilize the road course on the infield. And I mean, it's a very crit style race. It's
way different than this.
Way different.
Wind was a factor. You had to be a bike handler.
Yeah. And I mean, it really showed. There were quite a few guys that I thought would have been much more competitive that weren't. And then there was quite a few European guys that definitely stepped up and finished maybe a spot or two better than we would have expected them.
Yes.
And now we have Watkins Glen thrown in the mix for next year, which is going to be your elevation course. I mean, it's not a flat course. It's a hilly course, and it's going to that one's going to hurt. That one's going to be really tough. It's not going to suit me well. but I'm still
you're
going to go
going.
out there and attack it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're a NASCAR guy, right? You're probably the biggest NASCAR fan in our sport.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty
We've got
safe
a lot of folks who are in NASCAR, but so just being on these tracks when you're out there riding, you just must be just in heaven.
Oh, I'm in heaven. It's I mean, as a kid, you wanted to race on there, and you're not out there in a car, but you're out there. For me, it's riding a bike, and it's really cool. And I mean, even if you're not a fan, just getting out on the Speedway, I mean, it puts you in awe. You don't realize how steep these turns are. You don't realize
31 degrees.
How wide these tracks are. You don't how big, what a massive facility this is, and how cool it is. I mean, the energy. I mean, whether you're racing the age group race on Sunday or the pro race on Saturday, the sprint race on Saturday morning, I mean, the energy that just this place draws out of you is really cool.
So this summer, I think the last time we saw each other was at Collins Cup.
Yes.
We're in Collins Cup, and I thought you had a really good race there, right? I think you had a really good run.
Yeah, I had a great run.
And I know you hadn't swam much because everything was closed, right?
Right. With the whole COVID shut down, and then it just took me a while to get my body back into some sort of swim shape. And I'd been running, and I ran well at the Collins Cup.
Really well, yeah.
And but I mean, I made a lot of just little. There was like a whole bunch of little minor things that went wrong in the race. Coming into T2, Lionel went a little the wrong way. I went way the wrong way, and would that make the difference between me and Sebi at the end? Who knows? But it was the Collins Cup was an incredible experience. I'm kind of honored to be the only person that finished third place and didn't give up any bonus points. So
that's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, from Lionel to me was less than 2 minutes, and so I mean we had a real barn burner of a race. I mean, I think the furthest we all got apart was 3 minutes when Sebi was about 3 minutes behind midway through the bike. But it was definitely a matchup that I liked. And
did you like that format?
Yeah, I mean, I like the format. Watching the coverage, I think the coverage can be improved. But I mean, I say that about every single coverage I watch because you're always. Even as an athlete and anywhere in life, I always want to push things forward and make it better.
Right.
And I'm not good at being happy with what I got. So.
I know when we were there, it was like, okay, I'm over here for Collins Cup, but I'm going to spend the next you're there for another 3-4 weeks.
Right, 3 weeks.
And just different stuff happened.
I did. I started the long distance world championships.
Yeah, ITU Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, and World Triathlon.
Oh, World. They don't call it ITU. That's right.
It's not ITU anymore. It's
World Triathlon.
World Triathlon.
Yes.
No, it has to be more confusing. We need to have two people called World Triathlon in the sport, not just one. It's getting too small of a space.
Exactly.
And about 300 in the swim, I'm sighting on the first buoy, just looking when I'm going to hook the left-hand turn. And I don't know who it was in front of me, but I just caught it. The heel caught me right in the ear and ruptured my eardrum. And I was able to make it through the rest of the swim, but I mean, my virtual horizon was shot. I was swimming. I mean, I feel horrible for whoever was swimming behind me because I would veer right and then I'd sway. Oh shoot, I'm off their feet, and I'd swim back to the left and then I'd veer right. And I mean, whoever was swimming behind me probably swam an extra 300 or 400 meters just following me. But
you probably had a concussion.
I have no idea. I got out of the water and I fell in transition, and then I tried to do the flying mount onto the bike and I ran in the barriers. I tried to do it again. I ran in the barrier, so I did the granny mount and swung 1 foot over and, kind of did what I call the Meredith Kessler mount. I give her a hard time about it, but then she says, see, it's safe. And then, I mean, I rode off the road twice, and the third time I rode off the road, we were riding in a section that was counterflow to traffic, and I went into a roundabout. I leaned left, and I went to lean right, and mentally, I was leaning right. But I was still going straight towards the curb, and thank God for having some mountain bike skills. I was able to, in the arrow position, bunny hop a curb and go down in the ditch and ride up onto the bike path and then rejoin the course. But and then at that point, I decided to pull the plug.
Yeah.
I said, you know what, I'm going to hurt myself here.
Now, at that point, did you fly back to the States, or you still had more races?
Well, yeah, I went over. I was supposed to. I went over and spent some time with Orbea and Orca in Spain, and then I was supposed to race Bilbao Triathlon, but I decided to come home a few days early. Just because I wasn't.
You weren't.
It wasn't.
Your body wasn't there. Yeah.
So yeah. So then I got. It took me quite a bit to recover from it, but once I got back training, it's awesome.
So, swim run. You do a swim run event, and Andrew Starykowicz with a race with no bike is a little different view. How fun was that doing that with Jared Schumacher?
So yeah, Jared and I, we've always been, friendliest to foes on the race course, and our talents lie in very separate areas.
Totally.
And where I'm more the 70.3 half full distance guy, he's more of the Olympic distance non-drafting.
Yep.
And so I've always appreciated, I've always loved following him, and he's definitely always followed me. And so now that he's no longer racing and he's doing a lot of adventure racing, there was Herbert and Crable and a couple other guys up in upstate North Carolina put on a swim run, and
those things are brutal.
Yeah, and Orca, a longtime sponsor of mine. They've been really involved in that space.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything just comes together. They're like, hey, you know what? There's not really very many races happening that time of year. What would you think of doing the Swim Run North Carolina? I'm like, sure. So then it was a matter of finding a partner. You got to find somebody who's kind of symbiotic with you.
And aren't you tethered? So you sort of have to be some similar size, or no?
Yeah. It's up to you whether you use a tether, but
Okay.
you always have to be within 30 feet of the other person.
Okay.
You can't just leave them for dead out in the woods.
Right.
Well, I mean, come on.
Which would you like to do, by the way?
No, there was a period in time where I would have liked to leave Jared for dead, but we're no longer racing each other.
Yeah.
No, he. So it was very entertaining. To have to race with a teammate, and the water was very cold because a cold snap had come in, and the water was.
They use like a thinner wetsuit, right?
Yeah, you got to run in it.
Yeah.
So it's like a cut-off shorty wetsuit. The water temperature was in the 50s.
For
me, it was fine.
Yeah.
But Jared,
he's got like 2% body fat.
He was a little. He had some struggles, and like literally the last couple times coming out of the water, I knew that I literally had to keep slow enough to keep him on my feet. And I mean, there you got a pull buoy, paddles, and you're swimming in your run shoes.
Right.
So it's like, you just try to float as high as you can in the water, because as soon as those feet go in the water, you're stops
screwed.
you.
Yeah.
So he's just hanging on my feet, and I'm swimming slower and slower. I'm like, come on, Jared. And we get out of the water, and I'm like pulling him. I'm like, come on, because there was a couple guys from the Navy that on the downhill rocky part of the run,
they can run.
Jared and I were, we could have gone a little quicker on the downhill, but not much. And these guys were just like skipping like a stone on a pond, just across these off camber rocks, and we're just like, yeah, we'll let you go. And then we were able to be the young bull versus the old bull. We were the old bull, and was able to get them, and
you win.
Yeah, we did win.
I love it.
So a race without a bike, which was nice to travel with.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Can you imagine if you were like just a runner going to races and didn't have to deal with bike and all that other stuff?
I'm sure that they have something that they have that is bulky, but
It would be
across
nice. Your nose, or
it was incredible just to travel with goggles and run shoes, and I even brought like 3 pairs of run shoes, and it's all still fit in a carry-on.
Yeah, and you would do one of those again. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of them are really, really long.
Really long. I know.
Yeah. They're like insanely long.
They had one on Catalina Island. It was like 50K total. It was a ridiculous amount of swimming and that.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, if that was like a 3-hour and change race. I mean, a 3-hour and change race, that's right in my wheelhouse.
Right. You start going 5-6 hours.
You start going 5 and 6 hours of just swimming and running. I'll take a pass.
Yeah. So here on Saturday, your body is a little compromised, but you'll still go for it.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Oh, yeah. Right. I mean, that's what I train for.
Water's not in the 50s, so you'll be fine.
I'd be fine. I would be better off if the water was in the 50s. Yeah.
The colder, the better.
Some of these skinny guys.
You have to wear Speedo, and it's 50 degrees. That's a good.
I mean, that's when you did the sport. I mean, it was 50-degree water, and you were wearing a Speedo,
which is a scary sight.
Did you guys? How many aid stations did you guys have on the whole entire course?
0.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Carry
Let's
her
go
on.
back to that.
Exactly. I like it.
So,
Hey, we'll have fun on Saturday and try, don't be hitting anything.
No, I'm
right?
not- definitely
You're-
not.
Yeah, you want to make sure. And now, your bike okay? You need new equipment? What's going to happen here on race day?
my bike is not okay.
Okay.
So, we will see.
We'll see what happens.
See.
Finding a replacement
Yeah.
as we
yeah.
speak. Cool. Andrew, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time. And kids all excited for Christmas?
Oh yeah. It's the kids are very excited for Christmas. It's this time of year is it's hard to get away. I mean, as much as I love this race, this time of year between Christmas and New Year's, the kids just it's that holiday time, and the kids absolutely love it. And my kids are at that age where they're at the pinnacle of it.
Of course.
They want to make cookies. They want to do sugar cookies. They have,
Everything that's in the triathlete diet. That's good. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, my wife. Hey, I have eggs. I have 4 to 5 eggs every day, and so my wife is good working with the kids to add flour, baking soda, sugar.
Right.
And they put that with my eggs during the holiday season, and all of a sudden they bake it for 30 minutes, and it's phenomenal.
Good for you, man. Thanks for taking time.
Hey, it's a
Always
pleasure
a
being
pleasure.
here.
Andrew Starykowicz has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Clash Daytona. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
See you Saturday.